The reason one-night stands or casual sex partners do not support the development of trust and honor. Sexuality, intercourse, sex with another person is a bond, an emergence, deep friendship. It's very much like a unicorn sticker. You stick it on the notebook. It creates cohesion. It bonds with the notebook. Now let's say you took off the sticky, the sticker, you placed it on another notebook, you took it off that notebook, you put it on another notebook, you take it off that notebook, you put it on that notebook, you take it off, and by the time you've gone through many, many notebooks, you try to stick it on one, and it's lost its ability to connect. It's lost its ability to create cohesion with the notebook. That's very much like our sexuality, our sex, our intercourse with another person. We stick with this, then we stick with that, then we stick with this, then we stick with that, and then we find ourselves unable to stick with someone. And these people tend to have issues attracting committal people and committing themselves because they just don't have the bond. Okay? They don't have the ability to bond. Like that unicorn sticker just can't really seem to stick onto that pad or notebook after sticking on to various other books. Sticking with something is getting to know someone. If you ask the people who have stuck with that and that and that and that, and it's been quite miscellaneous, meaning the unicorn sticker doesn't really stick on, it falls off. Okay, just naturally, because it can't bond. It doesn't know how to bond. It doesn't know how to connect. It's lost its ability to connect. You ask these people, who are they? Let's say, who is that person that you were in a sexual relationship with, or that person you were with, or that person? A lot of these people would say, I don't really know. Sticking with something is getting contact. It's getting your footing. It's getting your ground. It's consistency. Everything about this earth is dependent on consistency. Either you're learning a sport, either you're learning a language, either you're learning how to paint, either you're learning a person, either you're healing your body, either you're learning to drive a car. It's all about consistency. Consistency is trust. And trust is a bond that's fulfilled. Okay. But when we don't have deep friendship, when we're not getting to know each other, when there's no sense of consistency, there's no fulfillment. It lacks fulfillment. And without that, our sexual partners, we tend to not honor them. We don't honor ourselves. Whenever we're learning language or anything, there's billions of things we could be possibly learning on this planet. Probably more than that. Trillions, really. When we're consistent with something and we really get to know it, there's this respect, there's this trust in ourselves, in our ability, and whatever we're presented with, and it creates this honor, this bow of reverence. Like when we learn a language, we get great respect for that language. We learn the culture, we learn the food, we interact with people. Same thing with, you could say, soccer. We get really good, we get fulfilled at it. It creates this respect because it brings joy to us. It brings connection, a bond, a friendship with that which we are presented with. It's the same thing with partnership. And when we don't have that trust, we don't have that sense of honor because we're just like a sticky that just doesn't know how to stick to something because it's lost that, well then a lot of these people, they don't trust people. They have trust issues, really. They have trust issues. They don't really have respect for themselves or respect for others. And they don't know how to communicate themselves or listen to their partner. There's not a harmonious communication going on. Because when we don't get to know someone, we can't expect ourselves to know how to communicate to them. Because we don't know them. And they don't know us. And when we don't really know someone, there's no friendship. And when there's no friendship, communication is kind of awkward. It's not, we don't really know how to express ourselves. And we don't really know how to receive their expression. And that creates a disconnect. But we all are seeking, okay, fulfillment. And sexuality, intercourse, sex with another person, we're seeking fulfillment as well. We're seeking a bond, a connection. And in our fast-moving society, we think that we can just jump in and just stick to that and then kind of, I'm not working, I'll just stick to that. And think that's going to give us deep friendship. But it's like that unicorn sticker sticking onto that notebook. The longer it's with it, the longer, the deeper the cohesion is with that notebook. And when we have depth in our sexual partnerships, that gives us joy. Just like when we stick with a language, or we stick with soccer, or learning to paint, we find our joy, we find a rhythm. You go to first class of Spanish 101, there's no rhythm because you haven't really dived in. You haven't really got to know the language. You don't know anything. Okay? So you can't expect yourself to get into a rhythm of joy, to get in a rhythm of articulating yourself, learning the expression of the language. And the same thing goes with our partnerships. So a lot of us, we see that first night of sex with somebody, like kind of going to first day of soccer practice. We kick it. We don't really kick it correctly, but it'll do. We got joy. We got that feeling of trying something new. It's exciting, but it's not really fulfilling because we want depth. We don't just want to be able to kick a ball. We want to be able to kick it, to control it, to direct it, to learn the game of it. And that is friendship. And that is getting in a rhythm. That's learning yourself, learning learning your communication, learning their communication, and how you can synchronize yourselves. Nobody really thinks about this. Am I synchronizing myself with my sexual partner? But when we don't, it becomes miscellaneous. It becomes animal, raw, just a raw animal. And human, we're not meant to be animal, okay? We're meant to be a communion with each other, okay? What is communion with each other? It's friendship, it's bonds, it's connection. It's communication, it's expression, sharing expression, including expression, caring for each other's expression. So when we're animal, we don't know how to stick with anything, and usually that trickles into our other areas. We don't know how to stick with our reading a book. We can't really finish a book. We can't really finish, learning the piano. We don't know how to finish learning a language. We don't know how to complete what we set out to complete and to fully learn. So when we can fully learn each other, that will improve our ability to have trust and to develop trust and honor for the other things in life. Okay. So when it's just animal, it's restless. It's primitive, it's restless, it's edgy, it's jumpy. Okay, it's always hungry. But when it is consistency, a human in communion with life, which is getting to know life, it's consistent with life, understanding life is a process, it's a journey, it's a voyage on this pursuit of joy. From learning how to be a good soccer player, a good painter, or a good pianist. Fulfillment from joy. Then our relationships, sexual partnerships. It is trust for ourselves, getting to know the trust of another. It is giving honor to ourselves, giving honor to another. Creating what we all want in just in general life. We want to feel a bond, a connection, a friendship that has a solid footing, it has a solid ground. We're in contact with this person. We want contact with life. And contact is like that unicorn sticker. You gotta stick. If you can't, there's no contact, there's no footing, there's no ground. And it's just like a sticker just blowing in the wind. It's all over the place, but never really knowing anything. You may all over the place, but you don't really know who these people are, where you're going, what's going on, what's this about, because it's depth. Sticking with one thing a lot of times, or a couple things, and really learning it. And when we do that, or people who tend to have that sort of, ability to stick with something on a notebook, they tend to have more discovery about themselves, about what they want, what they don't want, because they tend to have the mind of a meditator, or very introspective, very a student, a learner's mind. And those are the minds that are able to seek and find